Is it safe to travel to Cairo right now? It's a question that's been rising steadily in search bars, travel forums, and among cautious travelers around the world, and for good reason. Cairo is one of the most captivating cities on Earth. It's a living museum of ancient civilization and modern chaos, a place where millennia of history are stacked one atop another, like the stones of the pyramids themselves. But the Middle East is also once again at the center of global conflict. With tensions mounting between Israel and Iran, and regional uncertainty surging, travelers are asking not just, should I go, but is it safe to go? I'm Steven with the Travel Safety Network, and in this video, we're going to take a close look at the current safety situation in Cairo, the capital of Egypt, and the heart of Arab culture. We'll talk about what it's like to be there right now, how the ripple effects of regional conflict might impact your experience, what government travel advisories are saying, and how to weigh the real risks against the media noise. And be sure to stick around until the end, because I'll be sharing a lesser-known fact about Cairo that might just change your entire perception of safety in the Middle East. Now let's talk honestly. Cairo has always been a bit of a contradiction. It's crowded, loud, and full of traffic that seems to obey no known laws of physics, but it's also vibrant, deeply historical, and home to some of the most iconic landmarks on the planet. The pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, the Grand Egyptian Museum, the buzzing alleyways of Khan el-Khalili. And despite decades of political change, economic upheaval, and regional instability, Cairo continues to attract millions of tourists every year. But 2025 is not a normal year, not for the Middle East. The rising hostilities between Israel and Iran have introduced a new layer of volatility to an already fragile region. Drone strikes, cyber attacks, and cross-border skirmishes have escalated dramatically. Though Cairo is not a direct party to the conflict, Egypt borders both Gaza and Israel. It is geographically and diplomatically close to the front lines of tension. And while Egypt has tried to play a mediator's role in the conflict, the stakes are higher now than in years past. Any misstep could drag Egypt into the chaos, or at least expose its infrastructure, economy, or public spaces to risk. The Egyptian government is keenly aware of this. Security has been visibly increased in Cairo, especially in and around government buildings, major tourist attractions, and areas with high foreign presence. Military vehicles are not uncommon. Checkpoints appear suddenly. And while this can be unsettling for first-time visitors, it is largely preventative, a show of force meant to deter bad actors and reassure the public. Cairo is no stranger to these precautions. The state has spent the last decade building out a vast internal security network designed to prevent terrorism and monitor unrest. While this has been criticized for civil rights implications, from a travel safety perspective, it means that tourists are highly protected assets. That being said, travelers still need to be smart. Cairo is a bustling metropolis of over 20 million people. Petty crime exists, particularly in crowded areas. Pickpocketing, bag snatching, and scams are not uncommon, especially in tourist-heavy zones like Tahrir Square, outside the Egyptian Museum and near the Giza Plateau. Most of these incidents are non-violent and opportunistic. A savvy traveler with situational awareness, secure belongings, and a respectful attitude can navigate them easily. What's more important to understand is the broader context. Cairo has not seen large-scale terrorism targeting tourists in several years. The days of coordinated attacks on hotels or tour buses are for now part of a distant past. The Egyptian government's counter-terrorism efforts, though heavy-handed, have largely pushed threats to remote areas like the North Sinai, far from where tourists typically travel. That said, the Sinai Peninsula, especially areas east of the Suez Canal, remains under strict security scrutiny. Both the U.S., State Department, and Global Affairs Canada strongly warn against travel to northern and central Sinai. The UK and Australia also issue similar guidance. But this is not Cairo. Cairo is more than 300 kilometers away and has been spared the instability seen in those regions. What about the broader impact of the Israel-Iran tensions? Could Cairo become a target? Realistically, the answer is low probability, high consequence. While Cairo is unlikely to be directly targeted in a regional conflict between Israel and Iran, it could be affected indirectly. If the conflict expands into a wider war involving Lebanon, Syria, or even Gulf nations, Egypt could see an influx of refugees, disruptions in energy and food supply chains, or internal protests driven by popular sympathy for Palestinians. Demonstrations in Cairo are not unheard of, particularly in response to events in Gaza. They are usually tightly controlled by the government, but tourists should always avoid any form of protest or public gathering, no matter how peaceful it may seem. There's also the issue of airspace. If hostilities between Israel and Iran continue to intensify, it could lead to the closure or rerouting of regional flight paths. This has already happened during previous flare-ups, with commercial airlines diverting away from conflict zones. Cairo International Airport remains operational and secure, but travelers should be prepared for possible delays, last-minute changes, or extended screening procedures. Still, there are some reassuring constants. Tourism is one of Egypt's most important economic engines, and the government has every incentive to protect it. Tour operators are well versed in dealing with security protocols. Most high-end hotels in Cairo have private security, metal detectors, and staff trained to handle emergencies. Licensed guides know how to steer visitors away from potential trouble spots. And the presence of fellow travelers, many from Europe, Asia, and the Gulf, continues to give Cairo a bustling cosmopolitan energy. Government advisories reflect this nuanced view. The U.S. currently categorizes Egypt as a Level 3 destination. Reconsider travel, largely due to concerns in the Sinai and Western Desert, not Cairo specifically. Global Affairs Canada encourages travelers to exercise a high degree of caution, noting the same distinctions. The UK FCDO and Australia's Smart Traveller also make clear that while parts of Egypt are high risk, Cairo and the main tourism corridors remain accessible with appropriate caution. This alignment across multiple countries suggests that Cairo is not considered a no-go zone, but it is a destination that requires awareness. And that brings us to the traveler's mindset. Cairo, like many global cities, demands flexibility and cultural sensitivity. It's not Western, it's not sanitized, but it is extraordinary. You will be challenged, you will be inspired, you will be pushed out of your comfort zone, and that's exactly what makes it memorable. Safety here comes not just from avoiding danger, but from embracing the environment with eyes open, expectations grounded, and a plan in place. So, should you go? If you're planning to visit Cairo in 2025, you need to stay informed. Check your country's travel advisories before you book. Register with your embassy, especially if you're staying for more than a week. Choose licensed guides. Stick to reputable hotels. Avoid political discussions in public. And always keep an eye on the regional situation. Because while Cairo today is relatively stable, the Middle East remains unpredictable, and smart travelers treat it that way. Now, for that surprise I promised. Despite its challenges, Cairo has quietly become one of the fastest-growing digital nomad destinations in North Africa. That's right. A growing number of remote workers, entrepreneurs, and long-stay tourists are choosing Cairo for its affordability, strong Wi-Fi infrastructure in select areas, and the incredible lifestyle value of being immersed in history. From Nile View co-working cafes to rooftop yoga at sunset near the Citadel, Cairo is offering more than just pyramids and papyrus. It's reinventing itself, not as a relic of the past, but as a vibrant, unpredictable, and deeply rewarding destination for those willing to engage with it on its own terms. I'm Steven with the Travel Safety Network. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone considering a trip to Egypt. And let us know in the comments, would you travel to Cairo right now? And if so, what would be at the top of your itinerary? Stay aware, stay adaptable, and remember, safety isn't about staying home, it's about going smart. Because safety is your travel superpower.